Hi, my name's Anusha Nazarian, and the company I'm going to do a presentation on is Toyota Motor Company. Just a brief overview. The company was founded in 1937 and has been headquartered in Japan. They currently have 67 manufacturing companies globally. They primarily manufacture and sell motor vehicle and parts, and they operate through three segments, which automotive segment, which is responsible for designing, manufacturing, assembling, and selling passenger cars. And the financial services, that segment offers purchase and lease financing to Toyota vehicle dealers and customers. The all other segment deals with the design and manufacturing and sale of housing, telecommunications, and other businesses. And the revenue by the product market, so they split it up through four categories. So we have automotive materials handling equipment, textile machinery, and others. And we see primarily their revenue is from the automotive and materials equipment. This is over the 5 years, and it is in yen because it is a Japanese company. So sources of competitive advantage. Their distinctive competence is their production system known as they call it TPS. So it's based on the philosophy of the complete elimination of all waste in pursuit of the most efficient methods. And it goes into the lean manufacturing concept, which has practices such as just-in-time and Six Sigma. And some of these practices include when an order is received in the assembly line, they issue immediate instructions on that vehicle. And then as that vehicle goes through the assembly line, materials and supplies are continuously stocked and ordered. So there's not any point where they're low on equipment to continue manufacturing that same model. So international strategy and operations. As we see in the left corner, this is a little image from the company itself, and they aim for car making that reflects the constant changing of the environment. So that goes back into their big data center, which utilizes information that's collected from cars that are on the road that customers are using currently. And they have the mobility services platform. And that basically is to provide mobility services and promoting collaboration with service providers to gather more data to create cars that suit the needs of each geographic location. That goes into geofencing technology, and what that is, we see on the bottom right corner. Some cities have zero emission regulations, and geofencing technology allows them to have real-time changing HEV control, and that's based on location and driving time. So following that, going into connected technologies. So they're useful in considering, producing products that meet the needs of each region. We have urban areas, we have mountainous areas, we have cars that are used in smaller cities, more dense cities. North American produced cars are different than Toyota produced cars in Asia regions. So one thing they've done, we can see in their new model NX, is it's different based on the region it's sold in. And this is specifically from information gathered from the geofencing technology. So the trade-off between global integration into different societies and communities, Toyota is heavily into just creating dialogue with the communities and their stakeholders, and they want to have good relationships with the community because, um, they want to promote mutual understanding and support the communities that they operate in. They have roundtable conferences several times a year. They invite local communities to Toyota events. They're constantly participating in projects between public and private sectors and participating in industry organizations. They are actually a founding member of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, and they are able to improve and advance their technology by being so involved in the community, by recognizing and resolving social issues. So analysis of the value chain. So outbound logistics, Toyota has approximately 170 distributors and 8,900 dealers outside of Japan. The company uses common carriers such as railroads and truck haulers to transport its vehicles from the assembly plants to the dealers. So their operations, we they have it's organized into 4 units, and the first one is Lexus International, and the business unit is assigned the role of the global head of the Lexus brand, and they're in charge of Lexus development, sales, marketing, and advertising. The second unit is Toyota number one, and this unit is in charge of North America, Europe, and Japan. Toyota number two is a unit that caters for China, Asia, Middle East, East Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And the last unit, which is called Unit Seller, this unit deals with the unit related technology development. So they also are in charge of manufacturing technology and producing it. And as far as their marketing and sales, so they emphasize innovativeness and efficiency of the brand. So Toyota marketing strategy utilizes a combination of print and media advertising, sales, events and experiences, and public relations, and direct marketing techniques with focus on television marketing. And they have their Toyota Racing Development, which is heavily advertised in the racing community. And here on the right side, we see their value chain analysis. This is particularly for Japan. And, we could see how it always circles back from the customer to the production group, to R&D, to the sales group. And it's a constant circle of, getting everything working right, improving their quality, and then producing their product for the customer. Toyota's global vision, they have this tree as a representation of their approach to car making. And what it is, it's the roots to fruits. And the roots are the Toyota values, define 5 principles of Toyota. And the trunk is the stable base of business. And then it grows into the global vision of creating even better cars and enriching the lives of communities. They state that the tree is a symbol of natural strength and it's useful and long lasting. And that's something that they want reflecting on their products they produce. As far as responsible business, in the profit area, so they try to meet shareholder expectations by focusing on consolidated dividend payout ratios. So, they've been really good with that. They have a dividend payout ratio increase for the last 3 years, and currently it's 26.3, which is a 0.3% higher than the previous year. So they retained earnings are due to be applied to enhance their products, streamline and strengthen their overseas production and sales, and develop new business sectors. So for their people, they're heavily into promoting lifestyle habits that impact their employees. And they have an initiative called the Healthy Lifestyle Challenge 8, which started in 2017. And it's just to encourage their employees to maintain healthy habits and encourage employees to adopt or pay greater attention to the habits that they already have. As far as their planet, so Toyota announced the Toyota Environmental Challenge 2050 in October 2015. And it's 6 challenges, and they want to take measures to achieve basically zero CO2 emissions and improve their environmental impact. And the 6 challenges are challenge 1 is to reduce global average CO2 emissions from their new vehicles by 90% compared to Toyota's produced in 2010. Challenge 2 is to reach zero emissions at all of their global plants by 2050. Challenge 3 is to completely eliminate all CO2 emissions throughout the vehicle life cycle. Challenge 4 is to minimize water usage and implement water discharge management. And this is based on the local conditions and the region that they operate in. Challenge 5 is to promote global deployment of the end-of-life vehicle treatment and recycling of the vehicle. And challenge 6 is to connect nature conservation activities throughout their communities and throughout their employees. A big focus for the company is to establish a carbon neutral society. And they stated that they want to reduce the energy consumption of all of their operations and promote the use of clean energy. They want to minimize their resource consumption and implement activities that reduce the amount of unwanted substances. And a big issue for them has been the sourcing of cobalt. And they recognize that in the past that there has been issues over small scale cobalt mining, and which has been criticized for utilizing child labor. And they have a zero tolerance policy of the use of child labor to source cobalt. So they aim to implement measures to source only ethical cobalt. And their equity, they're transparent, and they maintain fair relationships with political parties and the current administration that they are operating in. And they hold dialogues with the community, the government. They have a very transparent presence in the industry. And their impact on the Philippines. So they've actually been in the Philippines. TMP has been there since 1988. And Toyota, as a multinational Japanese company, has just a general strong presence throughout the Asia Pacific region. But aside from having access to that overseas supplier network, TMP recognizes, the support of local suppliers, and they actually locally source parts. So they have 43 suppliers in the Philippines itself. And for indirect materials, they have 455 suppliers. TMP, their social and humanitarian arm, moves throughout the society as it, promotes the health, education, and environmental needs of the environment of the community, especially during the time of the pandemic and following after. They also have their automotive education program, and it enlarges the scope of Toyota's technical education program for the community. And they're heavily into adopt a school programs, which they adopt schools and they provide funding for these schools. As we see here, Toyota provides livelihood for over 55,000 Filipinos, stemming from their own team members to local suppliers and members in the local community, and investments of over 64 billion pesos, which generates about 1 billion US dollars, of just locally made Toyota parts and cars. So they are very impactful in the communities that they operate out of. They don't leave a negative impact. They actually help improve the communities and work to create a good impact. And that's all. Thank you so much.